Yeah, we're back. Back in action. Yeah, we're mixing and mastering, baby. This is part 3. We're going deeper into this song by Maudlin Strangers. It's called The Westside. So pretty fun because I don't usually get to go this deep with you guys on live stream. But I've just been feeling it lately, you know what I'm saying? So the more supportive you guys are, the more I want to do these live streams. So share the show, hit the thumbs up, show love, you know what I mean? You don't need to pay me anything. This is all free. If you want to support the channel, you can super chat it. You know what I'm saying? Buy me a beer, buy me a coffee. I got my own coffee though. You know, I can afford my own coffee. Barely. All right, we're getting into Logic Pro again. If you guys are familiar with Logic Pro, awesome. If not, all good too. You'll still learn a bunch of different techniques. And I'm going to be using a bunch of different plugins and all sorts of cool shit. But now we have 123 tracks. And lots of vocals and drums. And so the way I lay out my sessions, just to give you guys a little bit of, so you can kind of follow along visually, is I do the reference mix at the top, just default color in Logic Pro. And then all my vocals are this hot pink. Okay. So you can see all the vocals. There's like 36 tracks of vocals. And then we have all the drums in brown. So any drums, percussion, it's going to be this brown orange kind of color. And there's a lot of drums. Maudlin Strangers just stacked up drums on every record. And then we have yellow is going to be bass. So all my bass, sub bass, etc. This blue is going to be any synths, keys. Purple is usually going to be anything orchestral. So strings, horns. This says orchestral, literally, part 1, and it's a mellotron. So I'm just going to treat it as an orchestral color. And then we have guitars in red. So all the guitars are in red, and that is really it for this track. And the master augs is where everything is ending up, which I'll break down my master bus chain, and we're going to kind of evolve this as we go as well, which is really exciting because I don't usually get these kind of streams in where I'm doing the minute little last detail stuff. We'll see if we get there. I talk a lot on live streams. When I'm actually mixing, I don't talk at all, so I go a lot faster. But we're going to do what we can. And we have a whole like solo section at the back here that we got to really take care of because it gets really busy. So let's listen to what we got so far. And I'm just going to bounce back and forth from our mix, my mix, right? And the reference mix that I have, which is kind of like the demo from the client. And this is a good producer, you know? And yeah, I just got my power back. I actually had, I don't know if I'm going to lose power while we're on the stream. I'm just letting you guys know, but I didn't have power for like 3-4 hours today. And so I got it back and I was like, oh shit, I got to get to work. So why not live stream? You guys say what's up if you're here. I want to see you guys. I want to see you guys participating. I know you might want to just be quiet and like be watching. That's cool too, you know, no big deal, but don't be creepy, you know, say what's up. Good to see you, bro. Who else we got in here? Yo, Dr. Mix. I think that's someone else, man. You can't call me Dr. Mix. I think someone else has that name. Hey, you're the man or the woman. I don't know. Yo, it's Brian Olson. What's up, baby? It's good to see you, Brian. What else we got? The Doctor of Sound. There you go. I like that. Doctor of Sound's better than Dr. Mix. Yeah, I mean, no offense, Jojo Momo. I like that name, by the way. No Melda production plugins. Dude, you got to try it. I'll try it, okay? Okay. I never got into the Melda stuff. I don't know why not, but, you know. I don't know. I just use what I just like throwing paint at the walls. What's up, baby? We got Tall Bike in here. Man, you always got some weird name. Another undercover. You're a freak, dude. Love it. Bunch of freaks that want to watch mixing on a Monday night, right? But it's Monday night, you know, let's dive in. So I'm going to play, just bounce it back and forth. So this is the reference. I'll go like this, solo it, unsolo it, and we'll just kind of hear going through the chorus.
Look who you are, look in the mirror. Do you really see yourself? Out and inside a luxury ride. Do you even drive yourself? Off your phone, now you're alone. Are you enjoying yourself? Look who you are, look who you ain't.
All right, we'll just play through the first chorus. There's a lot of things that I still want to work on, but right now I'm bringing in all the guitars. So you guys get to see some really cool guitar stuff that Jake is doing. So Jake Hayes is the producer on this stuff. I'm not sure if the other guys in the band produce as well for Maudlin Strangers, but I know Jake does. Been to his place. You know, he's got his whole fucking house turned into a studio. He's got his drum kit. He's got, you know, guitars everywhere, his speakers in the living room. It's really funny, man. Like it's pretty cool. So let's see here. So these are the guitars. Guitars really come in during the chorus, but I also have some guitars here at the beginning. So here are these guys. And I'm going to a guitar mix bus that has a little bit of Pro Q4, right? Just for shaping. Now, I want to be really clear. I use Pro Q4 because the workflow. Like, it's not that, and it sounds good. It sounds like clean. It's just clean. It's not adding much, okay? If anything. And I'm usually on natural phase, okay? So I really like this natural phase setting. Zero latency is fine as well. If you're going to be on like the master bus, you go linear phase with it. But I typically use Pro Q4 just to shape things, okay? So sonically, I'm shaping things. I don't want too much of this low stuff because I want to let the bass have that. I don't want too much of this area because I want the vocals to have that. And I do want a little bit of this cut, this 2500 cut. I hate 2500 in a vocal, but I love it in guitars because it helps it the intonation come through, right? And that's just what I like. I do not like top end on a guitar. I don't think anybody does. You guys just don't know it yet. Maybe you do, but I'm not going to act like you guys don't know what you're doing or anything. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just saying, like, the top end of a guitar always gets rolled off with a tube amp or most amps, right? So we're used to hearing like electric guitars with no top end. So I always try to take the top down. Sparkly electric guitars sound really, really weird to me. So I always kind of like roll that off. And then the other thing I'm following with is the British Class A compressor. Okay. So I just really like this compressor. I think it's very transparent. That's the reason I'm using it. It's just holding things together. It's allowing it to kind of clamp down on any overs. Like if guitars like go crazy, you know, because sometimes guitars have these notes that'll go like, you know, and you're like, oh, I don't like that. Random, you know? So I just want to kind of tame that when it does happen. And he has a lot of guitars in this track, so I want to just kind of tame those things if they come over. So here are the guitars coming in, just soloed out. Now it's really interesting because I'm mixing. I'm not trying to sound design electric guitars by themselves, okay? So, oh, it sounds really quiet. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, thank you. Somebody said that. So, I have to route my shit. So, hold on here. I forgot I'm on a live stream. So, I have to do all these workarounds to do the live stream. I have to use this loop back audio for you guys to hear like the full fidelity of Logic Pro. So, thank you for telling me because I would not have known. I can't. It sounds the same in here, right? So then I have to take my output device to the black hole channel, 2-channel, this kind of like device that I've made. And then now once this all reboots in Logic, you guys will hear it exactly how I'm hearing it in the studio. Like, check out these guitars. And they're like, beep, 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 beep. Yeah. So thank you for saying something. You get the first prize of the night. Who said it, actually? Anyway. Who said sounds super quiet? Oh, yeah. Morky Pep. That's what's up. Morky Pep. Morky Pep. All right, so now let's talk about the guitars. So let's play them in solo. All right, so they don't sound that great. Like, that's the thing when you're mixing, if you solo something, you're like, that doesn't sound very good, you know? And I can sit there and be like, yeah, I'm going to make these guitars sound so fucking massive, man. I'm going to put them through amps. I'm going to do all this shit. And then I put them in the mix and the mix falls apart. It's disgusting. It sounds like shit. So that's why you don't solo out instruments and mix a record, okay? You do it I guess like as you get further into mixing, you kind of know what you're looking for. So you kind of like will be able to pre-choose stuff in solo, but I would not recommend you solo stuff. So this is why I did it, because I have drums and bass. And when all of these are in, here, I'll just play the bass. Like the bass is pretty huge. All right, so that bass with these guitars, all of a sudden, they start to make a lot more sense. They're like attached to the bass, and that's what I want. I want them to be glued together. It's just an attachment. You know, it kind of gives a little bit more with the guitars.
Look who you are, look in the mirror. Do you really see yourself?
All right, so hopefully that makes sense. Guitars kind of sound like shit on their own, but they're cutting and they're kind of splashy and they're attached to the bass, right? So that's a really, really hard thing for a lot of people to get with mixing, is they start to try to make things sound really good by themselves. And I highly recommend you do not do that. And the biggest reason is gain staging, right? Because as you start to add compressors on your subgroups, right? You're adding gain or you're taking gain away. And then you're going to master augs bus where you have compression, maybe you have saturation, maybe you have limiting, you know, you have other stuff that's adding extra gain. This is EQ, and this is adding a little bit of gain here, a little bit of gain in the bottom. It's taking out some stuff as well, but you're going to have gain there, right? So when you start soloing things out, you're hearing those solo things being pushed really hard through all of these processors, right? And that does not make sense. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to make sure that the complex waveform of all the instruments together with the vocal is hitting these processes, and they're all working together, right? Because it's all going to end up in the master bus. It's another reason why you don't want to have to do so much work on your master bus. But we're going to get into that. So other guitars, let's go to the chorus here, because this is where the guitars get really interesting, and I think they're really fun. So we have all these different layers, and I'm going to kind of just go through them.
Living on the west side. Living on the west side. But you wanna look.
Pretty cool, right? These like really padded, kind of beautiful, bouncing little like counterpoint melody going on. I really like it. I think that's a really cool thing that Jake did. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna steal that. And you guys can steal it too now. Thank you, Jake. So just to break these down, you have like this one, this like doing a note, very basic. Pretty cool, right? So I thought that was really fun. And I am paying attention to the reference, just so you guys know. Obviously, I'm trying to beat the reference, but I'm paying attention to the reference when I go with the balances of these things. So in his reference, he has a lot of the jet, 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 you know, the chugging and the driving in the chorus.
Living
Sorry, I was muted. But yeah, so the reference has like these blooming guitars on the left and right, but it's really about the driving in the middle, right? So the jet, 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 jet. So where I'm getting that from and where I really want to get that from, what I don't think his reference is doing well, basically, is what I'm saying, is the depth. So these blooming guitars, for me in the reference, are too compressed and forward. So for example, let's just A-B between what he has for the blooming and the guitars, because they like kind of come like they're like right up front, but you almost want a sense of distance and space and depth. So like everything is feeling a lot deeper and wider. So reference mix here.
Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. Gonna get your hair tied. I can see it in your cold red eyes. Living on the west side, living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your hair tied. I can see it in your cold red eyes.
Right, we feel a much bigger sense of space and openness with the mix now because of the way I'm treating them. Now, I do think maybe we can bring those guitars up a little bit in our mix, and I do think that we're going to want more thickness in the mids, you know, in the low mids and stuff. So that could happen in the vocals, to me. That's what I hear it in. And also maybe the bass or the guitars. So in the reference mix, you can hear that there is quite a buildup of that kind of low mid area. But I think that's just bad referencing, right? Like he's probably well, I know what he's listening on. He's listening on some really cheap monitors that only play really the mid-range, right? They're not playing the low end, the sub stuff. He's not hearing that stuff very well in his room. So what I'm trying to do is make something that's going to translate to all speakers. So you could play it on smaller speakers. It's going to sound great, you know, HS5s, whatever. But then also when you bring it to bigger speakers or car speakers or SUV speakers, etc., then it's going to go, whoa, this sounds fucking huge, you know? So you really want that. And that's what I'm going for. His mix sounds very mono and small to me and in front of me because it's not separated enough. You know, there's like a lot of that chunky, I'll show you the frequency. Maybe if we can just look in here, it's like chunky right here.
Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. Gonna get your hair tied. I can see it in the cold red eyes. But you wanna look nice.
You can see how much 400 is in the vocal, right, on this. And really just like that area is just really congested to me. So what we're going to try to do is make it very similar. Like I don't want to make it super different, but I do want to open it up. And that's what I hopefully am accomplishing with all of this. Another thing you can do to take care of that 400 area and make it a little bit more boomy there is we could go to like these acoustic guitars. There's plenty of room to mess with these. All right. So I have this Pro Q4 and you could see I pushed that area quite a bit, but I think I can bring this back up and even just widen this Q out, you know, really like allow this to, am I even working on the right one? Nope. Okay, like this, right? Just make this really wide and maybe go towards 490. And then when you have that on these acoustics, it can kind of fill in that low mid. Right? And now we want to kind of like meet meet that like mid-range in the middle as well with his vocal. And that's kind of the trick, is you want to fill out that space without stepping on anything else. And I think we've got that pretty dialed in, considering the bass and the drums and everything are kind of out of the way of that 400 area. Even if I go to the drums here and I look at my drum mix bus, I'm dipping out 441 and again 500 on this one as well. So we're clearing quite a bit of space there. And if we go to the drum master bus, this is like fitting the puzzle together and doing it right. And it's sometimes very, very difficult, and sometimes it just kind of falls together. But this has been pretty difficult. I've really had to work on his low end because he has so many elements competing for the low end, and that's just part of the game, So let's find the drum mix bus and drum master bus. So here's the drum master bus. We have an L4 Ultra Maximizer on here. I have this off. So I don't know why. I probably turned it off because I wanted to open up the drums a little bit more. But let's hear this with it on.
Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your head right. I can see it in your cold dead eyes. Living on the west side, living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your head right. I can see it.
All right, so something interesting about the L4 that I really like is it's just tickling the tops, but it has this upward expansion compression. I think it's upward compression, but this is really nice for bringing up like low level information. And then it also has a clipper built in, and you can see I'm on the aggressive mode. So I think that also changes the way that it limits the peaks and the transients. I'm not really sure, but when I flip through these, I find that aggressive on this sounds the best to me. So I think it's just like a little bit nicer for the transients. I typically don't use limiters on drums, but if I do, I really want to be careful. I'm only going to do like, a dB or 2, and I'm going to use something that's not just a limiter. Okay. So like just a brick wall limiter would attack too fast and it would kill my transients. But this has other things built into it that I can mess with, like the clip and all that. And the stereo link is cool too, because you can unlink the stereo. So when you have like hi-hats and crashes and things going on left and right, you can limit down more or less on each side, depending on program dependent, right? Like if you hit a cymbal on the right and it's over here, the limiter will grab that more than the left side. Right. So it kind of balances it out. And I always think that's pretty cool when you unlink it. But yeah, that's what I'm using here. I don't think that I need much of this. I think I need like very little, or else it gets really boomy to me. But yeah, this is cool. I don't know why I turned it off.
Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your head right. I can see it in your cold dead eyes. Living on the west side, living on the west side, but you wanna look nice.
Yeah, that's cool. Very light. We want it very light. I do not want, because you can hear what it does to the drums. It kind of pushes them forward and brings them up, that low end, right? So I think that's pretty cool. And I'll adjust things as I go. Like I'm always going to go back and forth on stuff. But so far, that's the chorus. I think the vocals right now is what we need to kind of figure out. So what I want to do on the vocal mix bus, just overall vocals, right? I want to find this area and see what's going on in the 400 to 500 area.
Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your head right. I can see it in your cold dead eyes. Living on the west side, living on the.
See, that's beautiful. Just push a little bit of that, because that's what he has in his reference. So I think he likes that, right? That kind of nasally kind of sound. Fine, cool. Let's push it. Let's leave it up at, what do we got? 1.49 dB up, right? And we're doing that to the overall vocal sound. And that's the best thing about the Pro Q4 is that it's not adding any color. It's just giving us just a little bit more push and gain on that area of the vocal. And if you really wanted to, you could like widen this out a little bit to make it really just musical and let it do its thing and push those vocals forward. You could also, if you really wanted to get a little wild, is go mid on this and just say, hey, I just want to push the middle of the image on the vocal in that area.
Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your head tied. I can see it in your cold dead eyes. Living on the west side, living on the west side.
No, I like it stereo. I like it on the full vocal spectrum because you're getting the vocals pretty hard left and right as well, because these, remember, these are panned hard left, hard right, all the way through. And I'm leaving that panning, even though I don't agree with it. But when I listen to the reference, I'm like, I know he's going to want that. You know, it just sounds like what he's going for. One thing I did do, though, is I closed these in. This is like the lead vocal.
Living on the west side, I bet you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your head dyed. I can see it in your cold dead eyes. Living on the west side.
All right, cool. Now let's go back to the guitars because we really want to get these to cut through a little bit more. And I'm wondering how hard this is clamping down.
Living on the west side.
Yeah, that's too much compression on this. So let's take the threshold up.
Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your head tied. I can see it in your cold dead eyes. Living on the west side, living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your head tied. I can see it in your cold dead eyes. Living on the west side.
Isn't that so much better? We just opened it up. That's all we did. So it's a big important lesson about compression, right? If you attack slower, you're going to let it open up more. It's going to feel more open because it's attacking slower. It's not grabbing it so quick. Another thing, I have it on auto release so that it can breathe with those big like swells, the guitar swells. And then the ratio, taking the ratio down, that helps quite a bit. So I had it at 3-to-1. I actually started with 4-to-1. Now I'm all the way down to 2-to-1. So I'm just kind of tickling it with this, and then the threshold at +9. So as you can see, when the meter hits, we're going like just a few dB of compression on the really big parts. So it kind of helps it like not swell too much. And I think that helps with the dimension, the front to back. So if I listen to the reference, what ends up happening without that compression and stuff is you get like the pumping effect. And I think that sounds really unnatural and really demo-y.
Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. Gonna get your head dyed.
It's like his vocal is pumping everything, right? So the vocal comes on, everything gets ducked. And then vocals off and rah, like everything comes back open because, you know, just bad control with compression, limiting on the master bus, etc. So what we're doing is making it much more open.
Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your head tied. I can see it in your cold dead eyes. Living on the west side.
Right? Feels a lot more open and breathy and big and separated, right? Like that's the best way I could put it, is it feels a lot more separated. Now let's get to the other guitars and stuff in verse 2 here. So we're going to jump into verse 2. We have a little keyboard thing that we need to just kind of bus to the instrument mix bus or all instruments. So just go to all instruments because I don't think this needs anything on it. Let's hear it.
Buy yourself a pretty life.
I like that. I almost want it to be wider with the pan. So I'm just going to try something on this. We're just going to go to like something that's just going to widen it a little bit more. I want it to sound a little bit otherworldly there and be a little bit more interesting, you know? That's all I want to do. So I'm going to go to like the UAD, maybe the, yeah, the Verve stuff. I think this is cool. You know, take the drive down, look for something that's going to be like thicken. That's good. Or sputter, You know, something that's going to make it we're just going to add a little vibe to it. That's all we're doing. We're not going to go crazy with this. You know, just add a little edge to it. That's all we're doing. Very, very subtle. It's very, very subtle. But hopefully, you know, they'll hear it and they'll go, that's sick. Sounds better. Sounds better than what we had. You know, sometimes you just want to make a sound a little bit better. Like, you know, 3% improvement. And you're like, that's going to be cooler. When that's in someone's headphones and it starts just giving that little bit of crackle, it's like, oh, that's sick. All right. And then let's go to more guitars here. So here's where we get extra guitars coming in.
Looking alive, beautiful ties, little lies about.
All right, so we got this muted picking part, and this is going to a bus that he has here. What I'm going to do is just option drag those plugins over so that I can send it to my own mix buses, right? So I don't want to have this going to these random buses that he has built, but I don't want to lose his tone and what he's going for here. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to take these two and take them through my guitar mix bus, okay? So it's just like a little workflow thing. And now you'll hear that they go up in volume, so we'll just kind of set them back in the mix.
You get carried away, trying to update yourself. Follow the page, click on the...
Right, now we get our little vibe on it, and we open it up a little bit more, give it a little more definition on those guitars. And I'm going to bring these up here just so that they're all together, because I hate when like I have like a bunch of empty tracks and then I have the guitars. That kind of drives me crazy. So I'm going to do this. I'll go here, bring these up over that. You guys got any questions while we doing this shit? Awesome, awesome, awesome. A tutorial how to use Black Hole in Logic would be awesome. Yeah, it's really simple. You go to your system settings and you build in your sound. You just build the Black Hole, like you install Black Hole, first of all, and then you make an aggregate sound and just, you have Black Hole, right? So it's virtual. And then in Loopback here, you just would, you know, create new virtual device, and then you take Logic Pro, route it to 1 and 2, and then out to your monitors to the universal audio. And this just allows me to reroute my audio to you guys. That's all it's doing. I shouldn't have to do that, by the way. Ecamm just switched their audio drivers, and it fucked my whole system up. So that's why I have to do that. That's a workaround, which totally sucks. But that's how I got to do it. And you can just like Google that, like Black Hole. I think Black Hole's free, and then Loopback is, you have to pay for it, unfortunately. What do you got going on? When I mix death metal, I always erase the bass guitar and I replace it with sine sound. Nice. There you go. A little ticky kick drum. Tick 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 tick. The hardest is to mix bass and guitars. There's always clashing. Yeah. Not always. I think you just have to know what you want out of each of those things. Yeah, I thought you'd like that one. I thought you'd like this one, Brian. I mean, Maudlin Strangers are dope. They do a lot of music that I think you'd really like. Awesome Possum. What else? Yesterday I was talking about the high pass on the EQs. What I meant was you don't need to worry about phase. No, not usually. Unless you're high passing something that has a lot of low frequencies. And you're using like a cheapo EQ, sometimes it adds phase or it shifts the phase. I mean, look, all EQs shift phase. That's what an EQ does. So use your ear, right? If you start to lose punch and you start to lose definition and you really want definition and punch, then don't use high pass on your EQ. Just use a shelf. That's always going to help you. And then don't use really steep slopes on your high pass if you are going to use high pass. those are the two reasons. If you're doing like EDM and it needs to be like super digital, hyper, you know, focused, transients need to be perfectly solid, you know what I mean? Then you got to worry about that. But otherwise, I would not worry about it at all. Just get a high quality EQ like FabFilter or the smart stuff, Smart EQ. You know, just get something nice. It's going to cost you $100, $200, but you'll use it in every session. And I'm not sponsored by anybody, by the way. Like, no plugin vendor sponsors me. You know, sometimes they pay me to make a video, but I'm not sponsored by anybody. So I'm not talking about any of this stuff to sell you guys anything. Just FYI, disclaimer. So these guitars here, the picks, everything, it has to go to the bus, you know, that we have for the guitars, which is all right here. And versus, yeah, we're all going there, bus 71, right? And then let's hear these and let's play back the reference.
Looking alive, beautiful ties, little lies about yourself. Hear what they say, you kept. Follow the page, click on the. Looking alive, beautiful ties, little lies about yourself.
Yeah, much more picking, the tick, 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 you know, so we're looking for that. Let's look for that tick, 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 tick. I think it's these guys, if I'm correct.
Self, hear what they say, you get carried away, trying to update yourself. Follow the page, click on the live, looking alive, beautiful ties, little lies about you. Hey, trying to update yourself.
A lot of noise in those guitars, but that's kind of the vibe. Like, if I was working on this and it was like a really clean pop record, I would fix that, but absolutely not in this. You know, I'm not going to go through and clean up any of that shit because that's probably pretty intentional, knowing Jake. So I have the Helios on here pushing that 6K still, and then this guy taking this shape. But here's what I want to do here is take the quality down so we're not peaking out this area too much on these guitars, because I don't feel like they really need that. I feel like it's adding, like I'm peaking out like at 150. What is this right here? Yeah, like two. Yeah, that's not going to be nice for these guitars.
Hear what they say, you get carried away, trying to update yourself. Follow the page, click on the lives, why don't I go fuck myself? Look who you are.
Sick, those are sounding great. I think that's sitting nicely. Let's bring in these other little bits. Guitar V2 bits. I like that he calls them those. Little bits and pieces. All right, and same thing. We're going to just drag this over. Option drag, and we have decapitator and channel EQ. You know, a little high boost on that. Kind of interesting. So I'm imagining these are kind of like little tick, 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 you know, creak, 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 creak sort of things to help with the rhythm. And make sure we take these both out to our guitar mix bus, right? So everything needs to meet at the guitar mix bus. That's what we're trying to do. Unless we wanted to design a different sound for this and we wanted to keep the high end really high end on these specific bits, we can then take it to all guitar or all instrument bus, right? So, but for now, we're going to just go here and make sure we like what they sound like in the mix. So guitar mix here, and that should take both, yes. And then let's hear what these little babies are doing.
Little lies about yourself. Get carried away, trying to update yourself. Follow the page, click on the lives, why don't I go?
You know, funny things like he missing a fade right there just makes that pop happen. And that's like something that a client would hit you back and go, I could hear a click right around, 2 minutes and 24 seconds in. And you're like, yeah, it's because you didn't put a fade there. You know what I mean? So just simple stuff like that. You want to make sure you get it. Why not, right? Like, just don't let that shit go to a revision round. I've mixed a lot of records for Maudlin Strangers where they approve it on round 1. And I'm like, oh my God. They're like, you killed it. This is perfect. This is exactly what we wanted. No notes. And that's so rare for me. That's rare for any mix engineer, I think. But yeah, it's because you got to pay attention to all the little details. Like, seriously, get into the details on everything. Yeah, like this is interesting right here. Like, what is happening here? This is like a double hit. He's flamming the transient here. I can't figure out what's going on there. So that's kind of an interesting take there. I think it's a bad edit, to be honest with you. But I know that it should start there. So I'll just kind of pull this out to where I find a 0 crossing point, like there, right? Somewhere around here, and then just fade that. Right? Make sure that everything's good. Like here, like this is just getting chopped right there, right? So just go like that.
Realize about yourself. You what they say, get carried away, trying to update yourself. Follow the page, click on the likes.
I always love those little kind of nuanced things that producers do. I don't know. It's just so much more fun to make a mix because you're like, you hear the little nuances and the little, you know, like you could see how much he put like thought into this, you know. It's like this one's only going to do the right side, but then at the end of the phrase, we're going to do stereo and these are both going to play at the same time. You know what I mean? So like that to me is just kind of really thoughtful. I love to hear that from producers. And then I might even like take these and just automate them up a little bit, you know, so they have more, you know, they have more impact when it gets that into that phrase.
Little lies about yourself. You what they say, get carried away, trying to update yourself. Follow the page, click on the like.
I mean, that's pretty fucking loud, right? Like take it up like 3 dB, like maybe just like a little bit of a lift, something subtle, you know? Yeah. Drew Hawks, baby. How you doing, man? It's good to see you in here. Hey, Keyrox is in the house. Yeah, dude, I'm going crazy with these lives, bro. Going nutso. Awesome, man. Yeah, hopefully that's the whole idea is I try to, you know, help people that are in all stages, I think, right? Yo, what's up? Hook Tonic in the house. That's what I need. I need one of those blow horns. Okay, keep going, guys. Stay focused. All right, so we got other guitars here. Guitar 71. Cool. And then it looks like we get a new baby here. Spring Verb Layer. Let's hear this one. This sounds fun. It kind of reminds me of intergalactic planetary. It reminds me of that sound, intergalactic, the little robot. I'm going to take this to the guitar mix bus here. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. Bus. I got so many buses going on. It's absolutely insane. I never work like this. This is like convoluted bus menus and shit. It's so ridiculous. Okay, another thing. This bus 17, it's going to this Echo Boy. We got to make sure that that is ending up. It says all bass. We don't want that going to all bass. That doesn't make any fucking sense, right? So we want to take that to all guitars or all instrument mix bus. Okay, so all bass is not the answer. That is incorrect. All instruments. Okay, so now that Echo Boy. Let's hear all this. All right, this is where you go to the reference and you go, how important is that part, right? Is it that important or is it completely buried and tucked away like it is right now, right? So let's go to the reference. Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice.
Gonna get you hit right. I can see it in your core.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem that important. It's like a texture, just another kind of layer to the chorus here.
Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice.
Oh, another thing, when you see automation read on, you should always open the automation lane. And if there's no movement on the actual volume, just double click it, get rid of it. Because you do not want automation on if there's nothing being automated. Why is this not turning off? Usually you could just double click this and it'll turn off the automation. Yeah, it looks like it's over here, like a random automation point past the song. So it's all fucked up. That's probably why. But I'm just going to delete all that. Yeah, no automation. I'm going to leave the read on because it could be... Nope, nothing's being used. So turn it off. Right? Don't let that shit screw you up, because you're trying to turn something down and you're like, automation is on. So just turn it off. Why can I not turn this off either? This is weird. Just turn it off. Turn off, bro. I should see an off button here. Ah, there we go. That's a region thing. That's weird. Why is this still on read? Okay. Let's see if we can... Whatever, doesn't matter, it's off now. So now we can adjust our volume on this and not worry about it resetting it.
Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. Gonna get you hit right. I can see it in your cold dead eyes. Living on the west side, buy yourself a pretty life.
Cool. Sounding good, right? You guys like it? What do you guys think? Think it sounds good? You think it sounds bad? You think it sounds like shit? This guy's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's doing. I get it, man. I totally get it. How do you get rid of clicks, pops, and vocals not de-essing, I think? Not de-essing, I think. I don't know what you're asking here. It sounds like you're asking a question and then answering your question. I'm not really sure what you're asking here. How do you get rid of clicks and pops and vocals not de-essing, I think, question mark. That's not a question. Reframe it. I have the exact same shirt and my name is Bradley. I'm old enough to be your dad, though. You sure about that? How old are you? Let's work on this, huh? You got this shirt? I love this shirt. A little Ralph Lauren. All right. Do it on the mixer. Do everything on the mixer, dude. Just mix it out. Okay, he likes it. It says, sounds dope. Tone Blair. There you go. That is the correct answer. I'm just kidding. There's no right answer, you know. This is all subjective. What I'm doing is I'm working for a client that I know their taste. And I hear things the same way that my client, they hear things. So that's why I work with them. And that's why we continue to work together on multiple records. And now I'm, mixing and mastering their EP. It's because they like what I do. And that's why it's always hard when you put out content around like mixing or whatever. And you're like working on a client work and you're like making it exactly how they are going to love it. And you're showing like a tip on a short form video. And then someone will get on the short form and be like, that's too dark. I wouldn't do that. And you're like, yeah. And that's why you don't have this client. That's why they're not hitting you up to mix and master. So it is hard because everything's subjective, right? But usually when you see someone like working on something, and they've been hired multiple times to work on or with that band or artist, they usually know what the artist or band wants. And remember, the artist or the band, the person paying the bill is the boss. They are your boss. I have a lot of bosses, But the big thing I do, especially with mixing, production, anything that I do creatively, if you're going to hire me, you're hiring me for my point of view, my perspective, right? So I'm going to give you something that is my point of view and my perspective of what I think sounds really good, right? I'm going to go, this is version 1, pass 1. This is what I think is dope, right? And there might be things that I miss. There might be like little tweaks that I miss, but overall, the sonic quality is going to be like, that's what I think is dope. And then the client can go, oh, dude, I love where you're going with it. Can we just bring this down and this part up? And then I hear, that this part should be this or whatever, that we need to fix. But if you have a client where you're like, this is my perspective and this is what I think V1, right? And they're like, well, can you make it just sound like my demo? And it's like, sure. I mean, I'll do that. It's boring for me, but I'll go back and I'll just make it sound like your demo. Hopefully better than your demo, right? Like open up your demo, but I'll do that for the client because they're the boss, but I will always give them my perspective. I will always say, this is what you hired me for, right? Like this is why you're paying me hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to work on your project. I'm going to give you what I give you that I think is really dope. And this is from experience of, working on stuff that's done billions of dollars in sales and box offices and all that shit, right? Billions, not millions, not hundreds of thousands of dollars, but billions of dollars, right? So I'm going to give you my perspective on what I think is going to work for you to get your song out there and people to like it and share it and stream it and add it to playlists and help you build a business in music. That's my perspective. That's what I'm going to give you, right? You can tell me that's too pop, that's too this, that's too this. Cool, that's fine. You can bring me back, rein me back, make me do what you want your shit to sound like. That's fine. I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? As long as we can, work on stuff and get to a point where you are letting me have some of my perspective in there, or else don't hire me, right? Just hire the guy that can match your demo because that's really easy. Ice Mike. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I work really hard on stuff. I can't work on something musically, production wise, mixing, mastering, songwriting wise. I can't work on something and not make it exactly how I want it to sound or how I think it should sound better, right? Like I have to do everything that I do to make things sound as good as possible. So I'm not going to skimp on things. Like this mix, because I'm live streaming it 3 times now, has taken me so much longer than any mix, but it's fun. And, I like sharing this stuff with you guys. So it does extend it, but I always ask the client, I'm always on deadline, It's like, hey, do we have time for this? Can I do live stream on the song? And Jake is dope, he's already got everything mapped out. He's planning on a full EP. He's got some fucking amazing songs. We've already pretty much wrapped the first song that he's going to be releasing first. This is going to be the second song he releases. And then there's a third song, a fourth song, a fifth song, a sixth song, those are all going to get released. I think he's doing 3 singles and then he's going to drop the EP. So I have time to do these live streams and he's cool with it, right? Like I always have to ask my client, is it cool if I live stream your shit? Because I'm going to show the inner workings of production, songwriting, everything. Yeah, lots of ear candy. I love the ear candy, man. Seriously. That's my favorite part about production and mixing, because mixing is an extension of production. I meant turn the auto off on the mixer. Gotcha. You're talking about the when I was working on the automation. Yeah, Keyrox. It's like a rapper ad lib right there. 103, any tips, wisdom for working with it? I feel like it's a little on the harsh side. It's not harsh, it's just clean. So when you have something like, if it sounds harsh to you, it's because the person singing in it or rapping in it is harsh. They sound harsh. There's no transformer in it. It's really low self noise. You can color it however you want. The tip I would give you is color it how you want it to sound. And that's going to be, for me personally, because like I sing, I would say I'm like a direct middle tenor, right? So I sing up a little bit higher. So the sibilance gets me, right? My sibilance is right around 5,500, like the beef of my sibilance in my vocal personally. So I will have to make sure that area of the vocal is treated right. I'm de-essing enough. And also when I'm actually performing on it, I'm very careful with the S's. The S's. See that? So you have to get good at performing on a microphone. And the truth is, any microphone's going to be like that. The Sony C800G is going to be crazy on sibilance. So when you get a vocalist, they're going to be really controlled. Usually female vocalists that have this nice wispy, airy voice, but then they're really soft on their S's. Like they can subtly take down the S's and the T's and the P's. You have to learn that shit. It's called microphone control, right? But yeah, it's tough. If you want a microphone that's like going to just hide all that, you just get an SM7B, right? And then you just go EQ the shit out of it and add a bunch of top end. How many projects do you usually monthly? How many hours you spend on each of them? I'm talking more or less about the time frame. Yeah, so I would say it's always a combo of things. So I'm going to be producing, I'll be composing, sync license stuff, things like that. Working on my own music, working on mixing and mastering clients. Typically, like mixing and mastering, I'll only take on a handful of those every month. This month, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, very fortunately, I have a album of 15 songs and an EP of 6 songs. And I've done also about 3 singles so far. So I'm pretty booked out for December. And then January, I'm starting to book out January. I like to book out in advance, and my clients know that. So it's like when someone hits me up and they're like, I need a mix, how long is the turnaround? It's like, no, you already know. Like if you come to me today, you're going to get your mix in January because I'm booked out, right? So if you come to me in January, you're not going to get your mix until February. So don't wait. That's why I always tell people, like, book your mix ASAP. It's just like when people tell you to upload to Spotify. You don't wait for the day of to upload your song and release it, right? You're like, oh, I got to get 2 weeks in advance. 4 weeks in advance is what they recommend, right? You have to be prepared for this shit. And that's why you should be stacking up songs. You should be stacking up EPs, singles, etc., because they go so fast. And if you want to compete in this world, you got to be doing that. But hopefully that's kind of answering your question. I'll be taking on a bunch of projects every month, and usually like a mix and master will take me, I usually break it into sessions. So I'll do like one session of like 2 hours. I'll take an ear break. I'll come back to it and I'll do another 2 hours. And then the next day I'll finish it off, like the tweaks, the mastering, etc. And I'll ship that out. So typically, and that's not saying I'm just working on one song for like 3 days. It's like I work on it for 2 hours. I take an ear break. I work on it for 2 hours. I take an ear break. I work on a different song for 2 hours, because you don't really need like super fresh ears to be doing the beginning phases of a song where you're like setting things up, you're tuning, you're editing, etc. So I'll work on like 2 or 3 songs parallel. And then that'll take me like over a span of like 2 or 3 days. Then I'll ship that client work, those 2 to 3 songs. So that's usually about a good time frame for me, is like working on a song. I'll get it back to a client within like 72 hours if they're next in the queue, right? And then I'll be doing a little bit of production. I might do some content, like I'm doing a live stream right now, and this is already 58 minutes in, right? So I try to do these live streams where I'm actually working on music as well. So that helps. But yeah, it all depends, man. It's always different. Almost damn near every month is different. Always. Because like you have different projects that take different commitments. If I'm scoring a commercial or something, it's like sometimes they need that shit like the same day, And so I'm like, I'm working for, 5 hours straight and I'm just getting it done. Randomly thrown ad lib, yeah. Yeah. Hey. Run the song, please. Let's get back into it. He's like, shut up. No more answering questions. I'm just trying to answer questions for people, man. Just give me a second. What's the difference for you between working on a whole album or some artist and working on different tracks by different artists? Any preference? I like breaking it up. So if I'm working on an EP like this, I'll like work on this song and I'll get it to a point, and then like I'll ship it over and I'm like excited to get rev notes or whatever on it, Sometimes it's like no rev notes at all, right? And I'm like, okay, that's shipped out. Now I'm going to get into maybe a single that I have in. It all comes in. As it comes in, that's when I take it on. So, and I make that really clear to my clients. Like, if you book your mix now, I'm going to get into your mix by January 2nd, right? If you book your mix December 20th, I'm going to get to your mix by January 10th, 15th, right? So, and it's usually, I'll work on the mix and it'll take me about a 72-hour turnaround, for when I start working on it. I do like working on stuff in parallel. So like right now I'm working on, again, 2 projects, and then I'll have singles as well throughout the queue. So I don't want to leave those guys behind for example, if you booked a single back at the beginning of December, I don't want to leave you behind this EP and a 15 song album, you know? So I'll mix one of those songs in the 15 songs, and I'll ship like 2 of those right to the client so they can start getting me notes and everything, and we can get on the same page. And then I'll start working on the single that came in, you know, and I'll bust that out in a day or 2, right? So I like to work on things in parallel, because you can move things from one session to the next. You know, you're like, oh, I did this thing in this last track that's pretty similar to this one, and I'm going to save that channel strip preset, and I'm going to import that into the new session I'm working on, because this might work really cool, you know, because you're always building chains, you're always building different stuff, right? Guitars, kick drums, snares, bass, 808s, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So all these things kind of work together. But I'm not a huge template mixer anymore. I used to do that a lot, and I just realized I don't really enjoy it. It starts to become like a job at that point. Oh yeah, put it in the template, you know, make some tweaks, bounce it. Like, I don't want to do that. That sounds like an assembly line to me. I want this to be artistic. Okay, awesome, dude. That's what's up. Yeah, a lot of the times, man, you'll break something, but that's, you know, that's part of the learning process. Sometimes you got to like, I'll have mixes, Kirox, that I work on for hours and hours and hours, and then I come back to them and I'm like, this is not right. I need to collapse this mix and like start again. You know, that happens. I've noticed some songs have a new instrument appear in the left or right speaker at the middle or end of a song. How can you make this new instrument sound natural if it's not throughout the song? I'm not really sure what that question means. New instrument appear in the left or right speaker at the middle or end of a song. How can you make this new instrument sound natural if it's not throughout the song? Yeah, I mean, Jake does this great. It's all in production, right? So as you hear things come in and out, they are just complementing. They're not doing something completely different. So for example, as we hear this, you have these guys coming in and out, right? So you have these little bits, and this guy, a swell here, tremolo, and you have a chug here, right? You have all these things. Like, let's listen.
Looking alive, beautiful ties, little lies about yourself. Hear what they say, get carried away, trying to update yourself. Follow the page, click on the lives, why don't I go fuck myself? Look who you are.
Right? You have to think in arrangement. I think that's the best way to put it. So if you want it to sound natural to the song, a lot of the times when I'm producing, I'm humming things. Like, I'll like, you know, let's say you just had the drums and it was going do 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 do. Like, you might be like down 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 down, you know, like you think of little phrases and you pop them in and out. It's really about arrangement and production there in that point. And making sure that you're doing it right, like you're doing something that's tasteful. Are normally there from the start of the song. Yeah, I don't think so. I think it sounds like you're talking about a very, very basic production. I mean, anything that I work on that's like going to be pretty commercially successful. I mean, look, you have stuff coming in and out, you know what I mean? Like, this is just like the beginning is just drums and bass and a little bit of guitar signature and stuff. And then you have all these guitars come in for the chorus and stacks and new drums and new hits. And yeah, there's all sorts of stuff coming in and out and weaving in and out. Even the chorus is completely different stack of vocals, little end parts, the whispers. These are different stacks that come in, you know, that weren't there from the beginning of the song. You know what I mean? Like, all of this is different. And then this part, like, this is a whole guitar solo thing that we haven't even addressed yet. Right? So there's a lot of things coming in and out throughout the session. Like, I don't know. If you're just working on a loop or whatever, and that's not really a song to me. Like, yeah, you got to figure out parts. You got to figure out your arrangement. Study arrangement. Arrangement is very, very important, even to getting a really good mix and master. All right, let's get back into it, though. All right, hopefully I got enough questions answered for you guys for now. So right now, we are starting to get all the other things in, all the other elements. Okay, so this is going into, let's hear verse 2, and I want to make sure that my tone is good and I'm not missing anything. That's very key. Like, am I missing anything? I don't know. Let's hear it. Let's bounce back and forth.
alive, beautiful ties, little lies about yourself. You would say, get carried away, trying to update yourself. Follow the page, click on the lives, why don't I go fuck myself? Look who you are, look who you ain't, can you believe yourself?
See, we're missing something there. That, bow, you know, it's like, whoa, what was that? The bend here, right? So this whole huge guitar bend stack thing, like this all needs to come in and be really loud, apparently. You know, so let's listen to the reference and really like hear what he's doing spatially as well with this bend. Is it all just right up the middle? Kind of, yeah, but I feel like he's got maybe some chorusing or something on it that is making it sound a little bit more stereo. So let's go to these stacks here, this little guitar bend, and you can see he's got a decapitator on it, and that's pretty much it. And then it's going to bus 54, so we got to figure that out. But this is muted because it's not part of my bus chain, right? So these are all going to the same bus. Decapitator followed by the chorus that's off. I did not turn anything on or off. It's just already there. So bus 55 input is what we're looking for. So here it is right here. And then that goes to bus 54, and that's bus 54 here. And that's going to another EQ and decapitator. Pretty basic, right? But we have to remember this chain so we don't fuck it up, because that's his tone. That's the guitars he's got going on. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this decapitator, right? And we're going to go like this. I'm going to go boom. I'm going to bring this down, bring this down. I hate that it opens up every time you have to set that setting. I'm going to option drag this one over because this is the chain of events, yeah. And then what we're going to do is we're going to save this as a channel strip setting. And we're going to call this dry or guitar bend, I guess. Guitar bend Maudlin. Right? And then we'll make sure that it's on the bus and it's under instruments. And boom. And now we can take all of this and bring it to a new bus. Let's just go like, let's go to our bus menu here, and we'll go here, bus 73, right? And we're going to go here, and we're going to go to user channel strips, and we're going to go to our instruments, and we're going to go, where's our guitar mix bus? Bend, here we go. So boom. And then this is going to go to the guitar mix bus. You follow along with that? Hopefully you did. So now we have exactly the tone that he already had, and we can start to mess with it on top of it, right? So what's it sound like now? Sounds fucking loud, right? So we got to gain it down, get it in the mix.
Look who you are. Look who you are. Look who you are.
And then we can start to break this apart. I want to see what we got going on here. So let's listen. Okay, just a really pretty quick balance here. And now let's go here. I really hate the sound of this EQ, and I don't like this top boost that he's got on it. So I'm going to get rid of it. You know, all I really got to do is just follow what he's already got, like as far as tone-wise. Like, okay, I hear what he's doing, right? Now we can do our own thing. That's how I think about it. All right, so let's go in here and let's see what's going on and hear it.
Look who you are. 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 Look who you are.
All right, now let's get a little groovy with it, right? So now we got little decapitator distortion with the Pro Q4. He's doing what we're doing, you know. I'll take the tone down, make it a little bit darker, and then we're going to throw this through like a, let's try H3000. You know, and let's just kind of make this a little wavy, chorusy, right? Just so it gets a little bit more washy, micro pitch shift, you know, blend this in a little bit. Pretty slick, right? Let's also try the 910, the dual harmonizer. And this is like a Prince's, like Prince, the artist formerly known as. This is like his secret weapon on all of his music. You know, he's very known for using the 910 on damn near everything. And obviously it was the hardware unit stuff back in the days, but basically what I'm going to do here is just go find something in here that is going to give me what I want. So we'll go to instruments and we'll just start with the obvious, right? Guitar to crystal organ is not what I'm going to do, but 1984 guitar, that might work. Let's check it out. Look who you are. Look who you are. Look who you... Now it's super aggressive and forward, so I'm going to try both of these and just kind of mix them, right? Like blend them. So H3000 into the 910. So we're going to just kind of like figure out a good point for these. All right, and then you could set it back with like some early reflections if you wanted to, right? So we can follow that up with like a true verb and just make this really basic. We'll go here and we'll take the direct down a little bit and we'll take the reverb down and we'll keep the early reflections up and we'll make the distance like longer, right? The room size and the distance. We'll just kind of like tuck this back just a little bit. Look who you are, look who you are. Look who you are. Look who you are. Pretty cool. Now let's back off the dual 910 with the mix knob here. Yep. And I think that's pretty cool, right? And now let's play it in context because like a lot of the times you can get like lost in designing a sound and then you're like, I think that sounds sick. And then you play it back like from over here and you're like, that's crazy. That's way too much. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. Date yourself. Follow the page, click on the likes. Why don't I go fuck myself? Look who you are, look who you ain't. I think it's pretty cool. It definitely has a different attitude and just a little bit more like, you know, but also more depth, more dimension, right? More front to back. I genuinely think the Logic stock EQ sucks. I do not like it very much, but that's just my opinion. So, you know, what else? You guys got anything else? You are for sure the most hey, I appreciate that, man. That means a lot. I spent thousands on courses. Damn. Hell yeah, dude. That's what's up. Yeah, man. Dude, this is all free, man. Just do the live stream. I have paid courses if you want to go deeper into stuff. I literally did, I did a full mix and master for this Maudlin Strangers song and recorded the whole process. Here, I'll show it to you. What is it? Oh, Spotify. That's what I was trying to do. Yeah, so the their number one song, Don't Worry, I'm Fine. If you look that up, this song here, I did a whole video course of this. Right? It's now like at 1.2 million streams, but this one from start to finish, like multiple videos. So if you want that, I'll sell it to you for real cheap. You know, you can pick it up for like $20 or something. Shoot me 20 and I'll shoot you all the videos. That one I spent a lot of time on, like massive amounts of time from scratch. You know what I'm saying? So let's go back to the guitar here and to the reference and make sure that we're not too far off. Like we're making it cooler and a vibe, and we're not like making it completely different, if that makes sense. Yeah, so right away, I'm like, no, this needs more distortion. Like the guitars need more of that distortion that the Decapitator's doing. Because like, listen to the guitar on this. Right, it's got a shit ton of distortion on it. And it's like crunching. So we got to drive. We got to drive that shit. Really got to drive it. Y'all appreciate that. Thank you so much. That supports the channel right there. When you guys drop the super chats, that's going to support the channel. That's going to make me be able to do more live streaming, make more videos for you guys, you know, answer questions. Like that's how it works. I pay for all this out of my pocket. So this channel, like everything I put out there, my editor has to get paid. I have to take up the time in my studio. I could get this mix done in a third of the time if I'm not live streaming it. So I appreciate that, man. Seriously. Or woman. I don't know. I don't know what you're into, what you're doing. I'm going to have to rethink my EQ. Yeah. A lot of people use the stock EQ in Logic and their shit sounds really tinny. And I'm like, oh God, here we go. Like you can just tell. I can hear it right away when I hear someone make a bounce. I'm like, oh, you got the Logic stock EQ all over it. Like, dude, just simply, if you're going to use a Logic stock plugin, just go into the EQ and use the fucking, don't use that one. Use the vintage stuff. Right? This vintage EQ collection. This has like a bunch of way better EQs than the stock. Like this is the best update they ever did. Right? Even if you just use this one, way better. It's an API, right? So even if you're like, oh, I want to take less or more of 125, 250, whatever, right? Like this is going to sound much more musical than the stock plugin. Same thing with the Pultec style and the Neve style one. They sound so much better. Like this is actually a really good stock EQ. Like you guys want stock, use this. Just use it for everything. Because it has all the bands you would possibly want. And it also has these additional kind of silky, punchy, smooth modes. And these sound really good. And it has natural phase. See how it says phase natural? Same thing as like what we're using that mimics analog EQs. Same thing we're using in the Pro Q4. Well, this is on 0 latency, but natural phase, that's what we want, right? There you go. And you can look up what natural phase is. I'm not going to explain all that on this live, but okay. What we got to do though, is we got to drive these better. We got to drive them harder. So let's figure that out because they do not sound right. So let's hit this Decapitator. Let's go wetter to start. God, I still don't like that Decapitator drive. I think it's still not right for these. So let's try. Let's do this. The true verb is a little too intense as well. Let's kind of bring this down. We don't even need this on. And yeah, something like that. And then probably before the H3000 we want to drive. Let's try something that I really like, the Mixland. Jesse Ray makes some dope shit. I think is it the 280 pre? I think so. This has some cool color to it. Let's see what we can do here. And let's just find a preset that's going to give us some drive. 808 self-warm mix. I don't know. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to go for it. Fuck it. We'll do it live. I'm going to just push the record level and see what we get. Pretty slick. I like it. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to mix this up just a little bit more. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, baby. I'm being a bad daddy. I'm just being real bad. I'm going to take this this little kinky bitch. We're going to turn this hoe up here. We're going to take that down just a titch. See, now we're getting closer. We're getting closer. Hey, we got the super chat. What's up, baby? Thank you. Appreciate that. Seriously. What's the benefit of hardware preamps for mostly in-the-box home producers? I wonder if my TLM 103 would benefit from a hardware preamp going into my Audient, or are they overrated? That's a good question. In my opinion, they're overrated. What I would do, just my opinion, you know, after using many preamps, I used to do like a custom built 1073 500 series preamps with the Carnhill transformers and all this shit, right? Like I went in on that kind of stuff. I had a friend that was obsessed with it. And after all that stuff, like shooting it out, buying different pieces of gear, selling different pieces of gear, I ended up just fucking having an Apollo. And on my Apollo, I have my Neve 88RS preamp. You know, this is the 103 you're hearing right here, right? This is going through this. And, you know, if you want my chain, let me know. I'll give you the chain. It's very, very simple. And then we have the 1176 Rev A. It's the blue stripe. And then we got the EQ P1A, right? This is on what you're hearing right now, okay? And then we have the CL1B, right? Very smooth, just, hey, you know, yeah. There you go. And then 1176 Anniversary Edition, catching overs at 20-1. Check! Boom! No clipping, right? So that's it. That's my chain right there for literally 99% of the vocals that I record as well. Unless it's a different singer than me, right? Then I tweak it. But, you know, it's just like tweaking it. It's like tweaking the EQ. Like you're like, oh, this singer needs to be a little bit more bright. We'll just boost up this 16, right? You could hear that. I just got a lot brighter. Right? So it's just a matter of tweaking. Oh, I want more body in my voice and more boom. Okay, let's take this down, take this up. Boom, boom, boom. You know, it's pretty simple. It's a simple vocal chain that works really well. And that's on the 103. So there you go, my friend. Just saved you a bunch of money. Hopefully that was a good $10 spent. I really don't think most people should be buying outboard gear. And I'll tell you another reason why buying outboard preamps and all that shit is totally overrated is because the conversion you're using in your box. What do you got? The Audient ID4. Okay. Let's look that up real quick because I don't know anything about that. Audient ID4. This guy here, right? Yeah, this dude. The conversion on this is god awful, I'd imagine. So you buy a mic pre, like, and you're taking the conversion from A to D, right? So you got this really nice mic pre, which is going to be what, 3 times the price of this box. Like, let's say it's $500. Let's just go with this one, right? This is the $500 version, right? Okay, so now you go into the line input from your mic pre, and now you're using the conversion on this to convert from analog to digital with your preamp. So you're getting phase, you're getting all sorts of weirdness going on with that conversion of your preamp that you spent a bunch of money on. Makes no sense. Buy this mic, get an Apollo, put the plugins on, you don't have to convert. That's how I see it. Unless you're going to spend good money on great conversion, don't have outboard gear. It's just not worth it. It doesn't make any sense. I try to tell people that all the time. They don't get it. They think like, no, man, the gear costs money, so it's got to be good. It's like, no, your gear is only as good as the weakest link in your chain. And if the weakest link is like subpar conversion, are you really getting the tone of that processor? Maybe it just sounds different. And you're like, yeah, that sounds good. It sounds way better. It's a little different. Doesn't mean it's better. Yeah, I love the VSM3, bro. Like, I used to use that like crazy. That was like one of my favorites of all time. You know what I used to do with that? I'll show you exactly what I used to do with that. And hopefully you guys can use this too. So with the V3, VSM3 Vertigo, I would put it like pretty close to the last in the chain. Okay, so I'd go in here and I'd go audio units, and I use the UAD version of it, Vertigo VSM3. All right, and I would take this. Let's do it right now on this master. I'll show you exactly how I'd roll it. This is like one of my oldest tricks, by the way. It's like something I would do, I want to say like 15 years ago, 10 years ago, somewhere around there. Yeah. Okay. So here's our master. We're going to go to a preset here to start. And I think it's the mid-side master. Okay. So MS. So you got MS master here. You start with this. And now what you have is you have the middle and the sides here. And this is the middle. Okay. Second order FET crusher in the middle. And then the third order harmonic Zener blend. A Zener is a diode. It's a tube. Right? And then it's a diode, actually, a Zener diode, not necessarily a tube. Let me see, Zener diode. It's got to be a tube, actually, if it's a diode. Zener diode, especially diode. Yeah, reverse Baker region. Okay. Yeah, so basically this guy. Okay. Anyway, that's the distortion you're getting here. And this is the total harmonic distortion, the shape. So this is a filter, right? But this is the side. So mid and side, and then you have the blend. So you can go more second, more third order. I'm going to keep it right in the middle, okay? And check it out. I'm going to work on the low end on this one, okay? So what I'm going to do to start, okay? So we're going to work on low end here, and then we're going to put this on mid. I like mid or high mid, these two, okay? So let's go mid because this one is really more of a mid kind of vibe. I'm going to kind of filter that out, and I'm going to open up this a little bit. I'm going to take this down and take this down and then this down, and we'll start to mess with the drives and stuff.
Look who you are, look in the mirror. Do you really see yourself? Out and inside a luxury rider. Do you even drive yourself? Off of your phone, now you're alone. Are you in? Look who you are, look who you ain't. Can you believe yourself? Didn't think so. Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your hair dyed. I can see it in your cold red eyes. Living on the west side, buy yourself a pretty life. Looking alive, beautiful ties, little lies about yourself. Hear what they say, get carried away, trying to update yourself. Follow the page, click on the likes. Why don't I go fuck myself? Look who you are, look who you ain't. Can you believe yourself? Didn't think so. Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your hair dyed. I can see it in your cold red eyes. Living on the west side, buy yourself a pretty life.
That's pretty fucking sick, right? Like, I don't know. So mid-side mode on the VSM, pop it on the master bus and blend it in. And basically, to break down what I'm doing here, I'm just trying to get these lights to just barely flicker, right? So that's going to get a lot of drive. You'd be surprised at how much drive this is actually giving. A lot of distortion, right? But you don't hear it because it's on a master bus. It's adding harmonics to everything. The reverbs, the delays, the width, the space just becomes like, whoa, everything just fucking blows up, and you're like, it just sounds way more three-dimensional, right? And this analog box costs like $7-9 grand, somewhere around there. But anyway, so what I'm doing here is I'm just getting just a touch of distortion, and I'm putting it in the middle. So that's going to be like the kick drum, the bass, the things that are sitting in the middle. And the shape here, I'm filtering it down, okay? So if I go all the way open with it, 0%, you're basically letting all of the low end in, and it's going all the way up to like 200-300 hertz, right? But if I go zoop, I'm just getting the low end down to like 80 hertz and below, or I don't know what it is. I usually use it, like do it by ear, you know what I'm saying? So I'll just like kind of earball it and pay attention to like the kick drum. Okay. So I'm going to play this on the verses again. And just so you can like really hear what this is doing just in the middle, just listen to the kick drum as I bring it up in volume and shape.
Look who you are, look in the mirror. Do you really see yourself? Out and inside a luxury ride. Do you even drive yourself? Off of your phone, now you're alone.
It's just fucking massive, dude. It's so massive. It's so fucking big. Now, same thing on this. There's the sides. So listen to how everything starts to get pushed forward when I open up the shape and I bring up the level. And we're talking about the sides. So let's go to the chorus here, because that's where you're going to hear it the most. Especially the vocals in the side.
Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your hair dyed. I can see it in your cold red eyes. Living on the west side, buy yourself a pretty life. Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your hair dyed. I can see it in your cold red eyes. Living on the west side.
Sounds so good, man. Yeah, thank you for telling me to use that again. It's been so long since I've used this plugin. It's so fucking good. But yeah, you got to be subtle with it. What I think I ended up doing a lot of the times, and why I stopped using it so much on the master bus, is because I would a lot of the times make things feel weird. And what I mean by weird is like the sides would start to become louder than the middle. And that imbalance made things like, it makes it intoxicating because you're sitting at stereo speakers in a tuned room with, you know, the Dutch and Dutch, like they're so intoxicating when you're using these kind of plugins, because like you hear all the depth of all the harmonics. You know, the tweeters on these are just incredible. And the woofer, it's like super punchy and direct, and, you know, it does 100 hertz and above till you cross over to the tweeter. But it's like, it's so seductive. You're like, oh, this sounds so much better, you know? And then you go to bounce it and you start playing it back and you're like, it's not translating. It sounds weird. Like it starts to sound like you heard when I crank this up, you start to hear the phase issues, right? It starts to sound out of phase. So that's why I stopped using it as much, but it's still absolutely gorgeous. And it's perfect for this song, dude. Like unbelievably good. Like just let's go to the reference mix and let's go to our mix.
Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your hair dyed. I can see it in your cold red eyes. Living on the west side, buy yourself a pretty life. Look who you are, look in the mirror. Do you really see yourself? Out and inside a luxury ride. Do you even drive yourself? Off your phone, now you're alone. Are you enjoying yourself? Look who you are, look who you ain't. Can you believe yourself? Didn't think so. Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your hair dyed. I can see it in your cold red eyes. Living on the west side, buy yourself a pretty life.
You know what I'm saying? Holy shit. Yeah, it just sounds so good. But yeah, you hear how it gets too wide for the chorus. So that's why I started to tame that down and open up the filter on the middle. So opening up the filter here on the shape, because they call it shape, but it's really a filter. When I open this up, I'm letting in more of that mid-range, and then the vocal starts to become more centered again. And I'll just show you what that sounds like.
Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice.
And if you really want to hear that vocal pop forward, you go to the mid or the mid-high here in the center.
Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your head right. I can see it in your cold dead eyes. Living on the west side, buy yourself a. Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your head right. I can see it in your cold dead eyes.
I actually like this is interesting because this is making it more focused, right? When you put the mid in the center it's weird because like it's mid side. So this is the middle, but I'm also on mid for the actual crusher and the distortion. So it's mid range, you know, the band gets into the mid range here. And then I'm shaping it so that the band is getting tighter in the mid range. So I'm driving that, and this makes the mix get more focused on the center, and it makes it not as wide, right? So you can kind of like balance between these two, maybe even like go to high mid here to like make it, you know, the thing that's going to happen if you go to high mid here is you're going to bring the mix up, okay? Because you're going to start to distort the high end stuff. The cymbals and all that stuff. You're going to get into that. So that's going to bring your mix up. And if you want to elevate your mix because you feel like it's too squishy and like this, and you want it to go like that, then you can do that. You can bring that up. Like even if you go to high, listen to what it does with the actual height of the mix.
Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your head right. I can see it in your cold dead eyes. Living on the west side. Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your head right. I can see it in your cold dead eyes. Living on the west side, buy yourself a brick.
Right, so this is a great way to open up the top to bottom, right? I think a lot of the times when you're mixing or you're producing, usually mixing and mastering, you have to think about every which way. You can't just think about left and right. You have to think about all the space around you, right? Like you can pan really far left and right. You can pan behind you, right? You can go up above your head. You can go down to the floor and like be at your feet and shake and rumble the floor. You know, it really depends on how you want your mix. And you can go back to the wall, to the back wall, to the front wall. Like you can go so, like it's a big circle. You're in a world, and you can build that world by understanding what the processors do and how to tweak time and space. And really that's what we're doing here is we're tweaking time and space, and we're giving dimension to reverbs and depth and everything because you're distorting it. Like truly, that's what's happening. It's just adding harmonics to the fundamentals that are allowing your ear to pinpoint the high-end thing being closer to you and the dark thing being further away. And that's what it's doing. So that's where the depth comes from. So if I go to high here, you hear the high end getting the high sparkle, the shimmer of the reverb that's open, and that dimension, everything goes up, right? Even the vocal, you start to like sit up. Like you're like, oh shit, because everything starts to go into the tweeter, right? So that's important to understand. If you want the mix to be focused and tight and punchy in the middle, you don't want to be bringing the high end up really high. And I really think that would be the wrong move on this track, like making it this like high, you know, really big space that's massive. It needs to be bigger, but the dimension needs to be like still tight, you know? I just feel like that's what he has in his mix and his reference and what he's liking. But I really like this low end, what it's doing on the mid here.
Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your head right. I can see it in your cold dead eyes. Living on the west side, buy yourself a pretty life.
Yeah, I'd be happy to ship it with this on. I think it sounds really good. One last thing I'm going to try on the master bus. First of all, the Limitless is it's good. It's just, I think we can tweak it a little bit more. I think this, just taking the top down just a touch, and let's hear this and tweak.
Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your head right. I can see it in your cold dead eye. Pretty light.
Okay, I'm getting happier with this so far. Just like little tweaks I want to make, and I'm trying to figure out how to shape it a little bit differently. Let's see what this Neve, how much is taken off.
Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your head right. I can see it in your cold dead eyes. Living on the west side, buy yourself a break. Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your head right. I can see it in your cold dead eyes. Living on the west side, buy yourself a living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your head right. I can see it in your cold dead eyes. Living on the west side, living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your head right. I can see it in your cold dead eyes. Living on the west side, buy yourself a living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your head right. I can see it in your cold dead eyes. Living on the west side, buy yourself living on the west side.
All right, now we're rounding it out a little bit more with this compressor. Sidechain filter, I brought it all the way up to probably 300 or so, 400. And then I am going with the A1 setting here, which is like an auto recovery setting, just an auto release. Pretty much there's auto release 1 and 2. And then I took it down to 2 to 1, and we're getting quite a bit of compression, but I really like what it's doing as far as like how much glue it's giving, right? So now all I have to do is just kind of mess around with the blend knob of this being in parallel. So here's 100% wet, and I'll just kind of start bringing it back.
Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your head right. I can see it in your cold dead eyes. Living on the west.
Really nice, right? Just like a really good glue, like chunky, kind of holding it together, just tickling it a little bit. And then right after this, let's put the Goldfoss on, just because I just want to hear what it does. You know, it doesn't mean I'm going to use it, but for this kind of record, I really want to make sure that the filter comes in quite a bit here, like 14K, 15K kind of area, right? So right around, like, we'll start here and then we'll start to open it. And then on the low end, I don't mind it being like wide open to start, but we're going to take the tame up to about 15 or so. I find that that's a pretty good sweet spot for the mastering version. And then the recovery will go up to like 10 to start. And we're just starting here.
Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your hair tied. I can see it in your cold dead eyes. Living on the west side, buy yourself a pretty life. Living on the look who you are, look in the mirror. Do you really see yourself? Out and inside a luxury ride, do you even drive yourself? Off of your phone, now you're alone. Are you enjoying yourself? Look who you are, look who you ain't. Can you believe yourself? Didn't think so. Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your hair tied. I can see it in your cold dead eyes. Living on the west side, buy yourself a
Yeah, I'm going to steer away 100% from the top. So I just don't think that this is giving it any love. What I think it's doing is it's making it sound brighter and it's making it sound more sheened out. And I really don't want that with this record. So, you know, this is like kind of a good spot to be right here to start with the Goldfoss. And let's pop it in and out real quick.
yourself a pretty life. Look who you are, look in the mirror. Do you really see yourself? Out and inside a luxury ride, do you even drive yourself? Off of your phone, now you're alone. Are you enjoying yourself? Look who you are, look who you ain't. Can you believe yourself?
Awesome. Now what I want to do next is take this Goldfoss and switch it in the place of the Vertigo, right? So I want that distortion to happen, and then I want the Goldfoss to smooth things out and separate that distortion a little bit more. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to really tweak this a little bit more and get a little bit more fine-tuned on it.
Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your hair tied. I can see it in your cold dead eyes. Living on the west side, buy yourself a pretty life. Looking alive, about yourself. You what they say, get carried away, trying to update yourself. Follow the pace, click on the likes, why don't I go fuck myself? Look who you are, look who you ain't. Can you believe yourself? Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your hair tied. I can see it in your cold dead eyes. Living on the west side, buy yourself a pretty life. beautiful ties, little lies about yourself. Hear what they say, get carried away, trying to update yourself. Follow the page, click on the lives, why don't I go fuck myself? Look who you are, look who you ain't, can you believe yourself? Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your hit right, I can see it in your cold dead eyes. Living on the west side, buy yourself a pretty life. But you wanna look nice, you're gonna get your hit right, I can see it in your cold dead eyes. Living on the west side, buy yourself a pretty life. Looking alive, beautiful ties, little lies about yourself. Hear what they say, get carried away, trying to update yourself. Follow the page, click on the lives, why don't I go fuck myself? Look who you are, look who you ain't, can you believe yourself? Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your hit right, I can see it in your cold dead eyes. Living on the west side, buy yourself a pretty life.
All right, my ears are like not right now, so I'm not going to try and master this. It would be kind of silly, but I'm just trying to get it a little bit dialed in. You know what I mean? Really trying to like see where things are breaking. That's like the key, right? Where is that low end really breaking on that kick drum? Where am I hitting the thresholds, right? Very important to understand that as you tweak stuff. I'm not sitting here like really mastering. I'm just finding the breaking points. And I'm listening through all of the different things working together, okay? So I think of this as like one thing. It's like one unit, you know? This is all working together. The Manly, the Neve. I'm not sure about this yet. I'm just really not sure about it. If I'm going to use it, you could see how little I'm using of it. I do like how it's pushing things forward in the lows, but I also think it's too much at a lot of times. So I'm seeing where it breaks, right? And then when I go to Limitless, this is great for shaping and everything, but I'm wondering like, you know, how much do I want to limit from this as compared to how much do I want to limit from this, okay? So I'm thinking this is an adaptive limiter. It's different than, say this, the limitless limiter in here. It's like a true peak meets a transient limiter, okay? So this is different, and the style on this being smooth is probably the wrong style to go with. But I'm just kind of like, you know, hearing things and where they're breaking. The vertigo, I'm still not sure about it because it's like, is it adding too much distortion? Is it just working against me as I try to get this record to a point where, you know, I want it to be loud and proud, but it doesn't necessarily need to be that loud. It just needs to be well presented, you know? So maybe the vertigo is not the look. And I think that's where this plugin just is so seductive. It's like, oh, it sounds so good. But then when you're really trying to get the master to those like final, you know, 5% or whatever, it's like too much, you know? So maybe I swap that out for the gold clip, you know? This is kind of doing what gold clip would do for me. In a different way though, because we're in mid-side mode and we're kind of like widening and, you know, messing around with the middle versus the sides and the distortion and, you know, the depth and all that stuff. So yeah, that's what I'm kind of working on right now. And then as I get this kind of dialed in, like this is more and more dialed in. So now I go back and I would be like, okay, first of all, let's finish off putting in the rest of the elements, which really aren't that many. So I'm not super worried about that. You know, I'm more worried about getting the overall tone of the record and like having it in a spot where it's like, that's the sweet spot. Now we can like, you know, bring in the additional stuff at the end and tweak that and get it in the mix or whatever. But the big thing is like getting the sonic quality of the record dialed in. And once I have that dialed in on the master bus, now I would go back on the drum mix bus, the drum master bus, the individual drums, right? Like if I'm going back on anything, I'm going back on these motherfuckers, man. This shit is huge, right? These kicks. Right? And then I'm going to go back on the vocals and the vocal mix bus, and I'm going to go, ooh, I'm getting too much like k and ps and k, you know? And now that stuff's coming out more because we're adding harmonics. So it's like, okay, now we got to like really get into individual stuff, or go to the vocal mix bus and, you know, check out here, like see how I did these dips already? That's because these were really obnoxious frequencies. So I look at 92 and I look at 39, right? 100. And then maybe after this, I would add a soothe, right? And I would just start to soothe those out just even more, right? And he had a lot of this stuff on his mix, and I think this is probably why, because when he started hitting the mastering, he was like, oh shit. So like vocal D harsh 1 and 2 are really good starting points. There's also the what is it? The Jason Joshua God one. I think that one's pretty good. Yeah, Voice of God. You know, this is a good starting point, and he's got it right around this 7 kind of area. So what I would do is just like move this. So I have it at 9 and 3900. So I'd probably just move this up, right? So go like around here, somewhere around there, right? And then I want to take this maybe to a high, and real time, maybe 2 times on oversampling. See if we can get rid of some of the distortion.
Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your head dyed. I can see it in your cold dead eyes. Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your head dyed. I can see it in your cold dead eyes.
Yeah, it's not doing enough for me, to be honest with you. So I would go here and go to, where was it? Harsh. Yeah, even vocal harshness, ultra. This could be good too. Yeah, this is like in a good spot, actually. Somewhere around here. And also around here.
Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your head dyed. I can see it in your cold dead eyes. Living on the west side, buy yourself a pretty life. Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your head dyed. I can see it in your cold dead eyes. Living on the west side, buy yourself a pretty life.
Right? Pretty good. Like this is actually doing a really great job. Take the attack up a little bit faster and the release a little bit slower. And let's just hear the delta of this.
But you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your head dyed. I can see it in your cold dead eyes. You're living on the west side. Buy yourself a pretty life. Living on the west side. Oh, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your head dyed. I can see it in your cold dead eyes. You're living on the west side. Buy yourself a pretty life. Living on the west side. Oh, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your head dyed. I can see it in your cold dead eyes. Living on the west side. Living on the west side. But you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your head dyed. I can see it in your cold dead eyes. Living on the west side. Buy yourself a pretty life.
Beautiful. Sounding really, really good, you know, to me. And I'm mixing it, so that's important. Soothe fixed my life. Doesn't fix my marriage, but it fixed my life. That's sick, man. That's what's up. You put Soothe on the master? Yeah, sometimes. I think I got plenty on the master. Honestly, I think at this point, I need to go back and mix, more. I need to like mix on the subgroups and these individual kind of things. Trying to like just hit the master with everything. It's like, why? Why when the issue, it's like, it's like, man, I'm fat as fuck. I'm really overweight and I'm really out of shape. I guess I should take Ozempic. It's like, no, bro, you work at the foundation, like start working out, start exercises, start running, start moving more, start, eating a little less. You know what I mean? That's kind of the key to this stuff. You got to go attack the root cause and issue, not fix it all on the master bus. I think that's a big problem. People trying to get to the end result way too quick, But yeah, I think this is really shaping up, man. Like, I'm going to give this one last whirl, and honestly, my ears are fucking done. Like, I really need an ear break. And I just got, Sony just sent me these. No affiliation whatsoever. They just sent these to me. I think they were like, yo, we like your shit, And I wanted to check these out. So, I was like, yeah, send them over. Let's open them up right here. Could be fun, right? I don't know. You guys want me to open these up? Is that fun or is that stupid? Is that like super lame? Like, yeah, man, I'm gonna open up some headphones, do an unboxing. It's these new Sony headphones. Yeah, boost 60 and walk around the lake. Perfect idea. I love that. Sounds great. That's what's up. I want to try these headphones because I don't know. I didn't really want to try them. Sony just sent them to me and they were like, hey, you want to check these out? And I was like, yeah, they look good. They're open back. I like open back. And I honestly, I keep using these DT 1770s because they're the closed back version, but I'm not like super fan of the 1990s, the open back version of these. So I don't know. Like I just wanted to have some other option for open back. So when they hit me up about these, I was like, yeah, send them over. But let's open them up. Let's see what we got here. These are the MDR MV1s. And I will definitely let you guys know if I actually like these. I mean, they're Sony headphones, so Sony makes some of the best headphones in the world, right? Ooh, these are sick. Oh, I was like, well, that's weird. What is this paper thing? Yeah, so these are like open back headphones, right, from Sony. We're gonna see. We're gonna. Actually, let's hear them right now. Let's have a listen. How big is your room there, Bradley? I think we're about 16 by 19, 16 by 18, somewhere around there. It's a good size. The roof is the ceiling is like 10 and a half feet. So I got some good height, which really helps like with the mixing. And I got traps all up on the ceiling and shit, Ooh, dude, this cable is the nicest cable I've ever felt from headphones. Like, this is a good cable. And I'm so tired of bad cables. Like, my biggest gripe with these VSX, the cable is absolutely god-awful horrific. And the adapter, like, it's so shit. I literally took the cable and adapter from different headphones to use with these because the other one was so bad. Fucking terrible. But yeah, this is really nice. And it looks like it has like a attached like little guy that like you could screw onto the headphones. Super nice. I like that a lot. I've never seen that on headphones. So like these, you have like this little screw thing. You push them in and then it has like this little, the screw is just like attached to it. That's awesome. I'm happy about that. All right, let's have a listen to this mix with these right now. I'm going to tell you just like first opinions, first impressions. Because, the least I can do when a company sends me some free headphones is like at least try them out and tell people what I think about them. I don't think these are like, yeah, twist lock. It's super nice, man. Yeah. Yeah. Let's get this. All right, let's have first listen here. Yeah, it goes right into the jack. It's actually really nice. I don't know how much they are, but wait, because I have no idea if they're any good, honestly. I'm going to listen, though, to what we got here.
Look who you are, look in the mirror. Do you really see yourself? Out and inside to look.
Okay, so right away, what I'm hearing in the snare drum on these, sorry, my camera is going crazy, but what I'm hearing right away on the snare drum is like this tinny kind of sound, and I'm not so sure that that's there or not. But the low end is fucking perfect on these so far. Let me go back to the speakers, because this is the only way I can actually do this. Okay, I'm going to go back to this beesh. All right. All right, so I think this is the same problem I had with other Sony headphones that I didn't like, is it has this whistle. These have a whistle in them at this like, maybe it's the 2K area right around there that I can never get used to with Sony headphones. Let me see though. I want to double check. I trust my Dutch and Dutch a lot more than these, obviously, so... and obviously other headphones that I know really well. So here's what I'm hearing. I'm going to go to the master bus here, and just right after the God particle, I'm going to throw a fab filter here. I want to pinpoint that frequency that I'm hearing, so you guys know what I'm hearing, because it's hard to, you know, explain this shit without you actually hearing this. Okay, so it's right in the 5K area and in the 25, I think. Yeah, right in here. What does it say? Google search frequency curve or look at the Weebook, see what the shape is. Yeah, good idea, actually. All right, let's see. Let's see if I'm totally off. MDR MV1s. Good idea, my friend. See, that's why I hang out with you guys, because you guys are actually thinkers. Okay, Sony MDR MV1 frequency response. It's got like this pinny thing going on. Yeah, okay, thanks. 5K to 80,000 hertz. That does not help me. What do we got here? Sony open back reference. All right, these are them. The low end is really good in these, by the way. Like, that's what I'm noticing. Very, very, very good. But I want to see... where's my frequency response here? There we go. They should have a diagram. Open back dynamic. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Download firmware, fax frequency, product self-support, manuals and warranties. All right, let's see here. Oh my God, this is definitely Sony, right? Like pop-ups, and then I got to go find the damn thing. Operating instructions. What? What? Operating instructions? Maybe this is them. You need instructions to operate headphones? Since when, man? Fucking crazy. All right, why no frequency response? Anyway, it doesn't matter. The whole point is that's what I'm hearing. So either way, that's what I hear in these, is this like frequency peak in them right around here. Okay, so let's listen to the vocal though. I think that's going to be kind of the make or break for me on these.
Do you really see yourself out and inside a luxury ride? Do you even drive yourself? Off of your phone, now you're alone. Are you enjoying yourself? Look who you are, look who you ain't. Can you believe yourself? Do you think so? Living on the west side, but you wanna look nice. You're gonna get your hair dyed. I can see it in your cold dead eyes. Living on the west side.
You know what's hella funny is like going to this right here, drum mix, and taking that 2700 down. Now in these, it sounds like perfect, the drums, the snare drum.
Look who you are, look in the mirror. Do you really see yourself out and inside a luxury ride? Do you even drive yourself? Off of your phone, now you're alone. Are you enjoying yourself? Look who you are, look.
Man, the low end is fucking spot on. Like, damn good low end. Holy shit. If I didn't have monitors that like went all the way down, like plus or minus 1 at 30 hertz, I would be, this is what I'd mix in 1000%, especially with low end. This really, really good low end. Holy shit. I'm pretty blown away by that. And you know, I've been sitting here mixing this shit. I'm like so in tune with what the low end's doing.
Look who you are, look in the mirror. Do you really see yourself out and inside a luxury ride? Do you even drive yourself? Off of your phone, now you're alone. Are you enjoying yourself? Look who you are, look who you ain't. Can you believe yourself?
God damn. I mix some really good low end, you guys. Like, I'm proud of myself. Hearing it on this, I'm like, yeah, that's spot on. That is fucking good. Sick, dude. I don't mind them. The vocals sound incredible on them too. Really, really good mid-range. I think I like them better than the Beyerdynamics because the Beyerdynamics kind of add too much like sizzly high end sometimes. So I'll use both of those to check. Like, it's good to have multiple reference points. No doubt about it. But holy hell, those are really good on the low end. Maybe the best sounding headphones on the low end that I've heard. Because I used to use the ATH M50Xs, and they were the old ones. And the low end on those are really good, and the mid-range is really good. But it has sort of like a, sort of the same thing that these have, where it kind of spikes up a little bit of that 4 to 5K area. And I don't know. I could definitely get used to these and be like mixing like crazy on them. They're going to be a good reference point, and they're pretty comfortable. Anyway, that's my review on the Sony MDR MV1s, boys and girls. And that's all I got for you guys tonight. No, for real though, I got to eat some dinner and like take an ear break because my shit is like just totally done for. Guys, any last questions? Anything else? What do you guys think? Did you have fun? Was this a good stream? Did you actually like the video? Like, there's 29 likes. Like, you guys can do better than that. I don't know. Couple shout outs here. I really want to shout out Deve Goshmanzen, whatever. I don't really know how to say your name, but thank you. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that. Supports the channel. Really, really do appreciate it. Gets me to a little less than minimum wage kind of area. And thank you, Craig. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for the super chats. It means a lot. I just spent 2 hours and 16 minutes with you guys on this live stream. So I've now made $15. I've made a little over $7 an hour working with you guys tonight. So let's give it up. A little over $7 an hour. I'll take it. But yeah, if you guys want to get a mix booked, book it now. I pinned a link in the chat so you guys can book your mix. There's 3 tiers of mixing, just pick one. Like, I want a basic mix. I just need you to finish off stuff. For this kind of mix, I do this is like middle tier kind of mix. I'm not doing a bunch of tuning. I'm not doing a bunch of vocal lining. I'm not fixing a bunch of problems. That's going to be a middle tier bottle service, mix and master. So, and then if you want the works, because you're like, dude, I'm so scared of how bad my shit sounds and I really need help. I need it tuned. I need it aligned. I need all this stuff. Then do the VIP mix and master. And then also I'll help you with the rollout and all that stuff. Get you on a call one-on-one. You can ask questions, all that good stuff. But yeah, appreciate you guys coming through and share the show, subscribe to the channel. And yeah, dude, just keep learning, keep growing, keep asking questions. Best thing you can do is show up to these streams and have really good questions ready to go. So I can answer good questions, because that's what helps you grow. And then practice, lots and lots of practice. All right. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.